In this lesson, guys, we'll continue working on lighting. So before I start, if you select the camera and if you don't see this red rectangle, make sure you are selecting the handle tool. For example, if you select the select tool, you don't see that. So make sure you click here to enable the rectangle tool. Okay, so another thing, if I go to object level here, you see here I added the attribute delete node, right? But you can disable that and delete the material from here. If you come to material palette, you will see all the material are here when we created this test geometry. So if you don't want to use the attribute delete, you can delete them, delete the material from the material palette. So let's take a look at the point light. So I will come here and click once on the point light, and let's try it again. Click here, and now I can place it where I want. I will hit enter, and I can move that to the up a little bit and to the left. And the point light is a point, just emitting light from a point in the space. So this is the icon. As you see, the icon is very silly and it's very big. So I will come here to the misc, and I will decrease the icon scale. This will not affect the light intensity, something like that. And here in the light, you will see I have the enable and enable in the viewport. If you disable the enable in the viewport, the light now disabled in the viewport. Or you can click here to disable all the lights in the viewport. So now I have no light and no shade. If I click here, I just had a shading. And if you click here, now the lights enabled in the viewport. Okay. And here, if you disable that, now you disabling the light in the viewport for this light. And if you hide the visibility or the display here, this will not affect the light in the rendering. So you need, if you want to disable the light, you need to click here to disable the light in the renderer, as you see. Okay, and if you come here, you will see the color. You can change the color of the light as you want. And here you see the intensity, how strong your light will be. As you see, the more I increase the intensity, the stronger my light is in the renderer. And this exposure is multiplier for the intensity. Okay, let's set that to 0. And if you come to the shadow, you see here I have the shadow intensity, so I can decrease the shadow intensity. As you see, the shadow is barely visible in the renderer, and if you increase that, now your shadow is have more intensity. And this is the color of the shadow. Of course, you can change the color of the shadow. And now let's go to the light, and here you see I have the type, for example, point, and you can change the type of the light. Okay, and here you see enable spotlight. So instead of going here and clicking on the spotlight, I can just click on the enable spotlight, and now I have a spotlight. Let's go to misc, and let's increase the icon scale so we can see the spotlight. As you see, and my handle tool is selected. As you see, I have the rotate tool here, so I can rotate the spotlight, or I can move it. And of course, you can click here and go look through light and click on the point light. So now I am inside the spotlight, and I will lock that, so I can now change the view, my view, and this will match the light position. Okay, so let's move a little bit here. Okay, and let's click on the lock, and let's go to perspective, and let's go to our camera. Okay, let's move the light a little bit. Just I need to select that. Okay, okay, so now let's go to the camera, and here guys you will see I have the cone angle, so I can control the cone angle of the spotlight, and of course you can control the delta to make the light wider, and the fall off. And let's now click on the enable spotlight. We need to disable that, and now instead of going again to area light, I can just simply come to the area light option, and you see here it's disabled, right? It's inactive. So if you want to make it active, you simply come to type and change that to, for example, grid. So now I enabled all the options here. So now I have area light. So let's move that a little bit down. Okay. Here you see the area size. So if you middle mouse click, hold the middle mouse button and move that and increase that, as you see I am making the rectangle bigger, and at the same time, as you see guys, the light fading in the viewport, so it distributed in all the scene. As you see, the more you make it bigger, your light will be faded. So to prevent that, you can click here, and now the light will be stronger. The more you increase the light size, the more light you get. But if you click on the normalize, this will remain in the same value. For example, if the value is 1, and if you increase that, the value will remain 1 for the light. But if you clicked here, turn it off, now if you increase that, and the 1 value will increases. It depends on the size of the light. Okay, so let's set it to 2 by 2, and let's enable the normalize light. And this is for this lesson guys, and in the next lesson I will see you. So don't forget to apply what you learned in this lesson. So see you.